Alrighty, y'all. Hello. Happy Monday to everybody. Hope everyone is going to have an excellent week coming up ahead. We're looking at, is German trucking the best? Well, that's an odd question. I'm wondering what this video will dive into. I mean, at the end of the day, isn't trucking just trucking, right? I know it can differ, of course, between different countries, but what makes it the best in one country? Not really sure. But it's a very huge subject, and I'm always open to learning way more about it. As it's really always fascinating to me. This comes to us from a channel called Yukon. It'll be linked in the description down below so you can check it out and, of course, check out their whole channel. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Out of all the nations in Europe, no particular country seems to have more love, or perhaps a more fitting word would be obsession, with transportation and logistics than the EU's main economic powerhouse, Germany. Boasting a population of just over 83 million people, Germany's position in the heart of Central Europe makes them the continent's king of international trade. With a cultural emphasis on practicality and common sense, the infrastructure of the country known by many names just might make it one of the best places on earth to be a truck driver. But I suppose those best able to discern the truth of that statement are the estimated 500,000 truck drivers who make their home in the nation adorned in black, red, and gold.
Can you believe...
The roads of Germany are dominated by renowned...
I know I've said this on videos before, but let me reiterate. Germany is not, of course, small, but I don't think of it as humongous like countries like maybe Australia, the U.S., Canada. Those are really big countries, right? As in, size, like landmass. The fact that there's over 80 million people in Germany is, wow, that's impressive. And of course, with that many people, you're going to have a lot of truck drivers. So I imagine trucking is really a big deal, not to mention its geographic location, its economic importance and impact. Yeah, trucking's got to be a big deal here.
European truck brands such as Scania, Volvo, IWrocker, DAF, and of course the popular German brands MAN and Mercedes.
Yeah, and I've loved learning about these brands. They're all actually really cool.
As one might expect, Mercedes-Benz is consistently the best-selling truck brand in the country. And
no
though the
surprise.
Price tag may seem a bit lofty, consumers find themselves repeatedly swayed by the manufacturer's long-standing track record of reliability and domestic dominance.
I mean, that's your domestic brand, right? Mercedes-Benz, these are actually really cool-looking trucks. Of course, we have a lot of Mercedes-Benz vehicles here in the U.S., but we don't have their trucks like this. Would be cool to see, not gonna lie, on American roads. Yeah, these are really, really nice. I'm not surprised that when you have a brand that strong and that versatile, like Mercedes-Benz, that of course is going to be the best-selling or one of the best-selling brands in Germany, right?
Specifically, the Mercedes-Benz Actros is the most commonly purchased by German truckers, a model which has achieved success in many areas of the globe. In terms of styling, on the surface, German trucks may look quite similar to certain Dutch, French, Belgian, and other Western European truck designs, though there are a few differences which can be used to distinguish them on the road. As truck design is very much an individual choice, I'm speaking very generally here about overall trends in the country. But
that Mercedes Actros looks pretty cool in that field. That's part of trucking I haven't really looked into. We've done a lot of like on-the-road stuff, right? That's what I've learned about and looked at videos on. I've never kind of delved into some of the other industries that trucking is needed, right? So looking at some agriculture footage of this, pretty cool, actually.
German trucks tend to be a bit more muted in terms of colors than some other European nations. Unicolor designs featuring silver, black, white, and red are common, while those who do decide to have their trucks custom painted sometimes opt for more elaborate and refined artwork, as opposed to punchy and brightly colored graphics. In addition, Germany seems to be more reserved in terms of lighting, chrome, and additional exterior features, with add-ons such as bull bars being much less frequent than in neighboring Netherlands.
Now, that of course could be a generalization. Maybe you disagree with that, and that's fine. But yeah, I would almost have to agree with that. Generally, you think of German vehicles, even their trucks like this. They're very sleek, very sharp. That's how I would think of them, right? I don't think bright, vivid colors like bright pink and bright green and stuff like that, right? Yeah, more muted, but classy looking, sharp, put together, And that's not a bad thing. They look good.
Is built on the backs of many countries and stylings, as the free flow of traffic brings design ideas across the continent. So there are plenty of German trucks which choose to be loudly colored, brightly lit, and with ample exterior modifications.
Of course.
If there's one thing Germans certainly do best, it has to be their roads. As of 2023, Germany lays claim to the 12th largest road network in the world, with a total size of 644,480 kilometers in length.
Look at that. Holy smokes. That is remarkable. Look at all the Autobahns. I was one of the Americans that just assumed the Autobahn was like a a name of a specific highway, right? When in reality, that's just the name of the highway, correct? In Germany, that's what I've been told. So, you could point to one of these major highways here on this map. Where is it? Right there. And you could just say that's the Autobahn, right? Am I wrong in assuming that? That's what I think I've interpreted. But yeah, that is a really impressive and extensive road network.
Almost all of which is paved. The vast majority of roads are in excellent condition and are maintained frequently, though in some more rural areas and select sections of eastern Germany, you may occasionally run into subpar stretches of asphalt. Germany is also home to the Autobahn, one of the only motorways in the world that doesn't have a speed limit in certain sections. And
yeah, I've said this before too, like he just said. I'm always amazed. Germany climate is not like it's paradise, right? The climate's all over the place. There's rain, there's cold, there could be snow. But wow, it doesn't seem to do a number on the roads. They just look really good for the most part. Of course, everywhere you go, there's going to be really nice roads and really bad roads. But I feel like that ratio is more towards good roads. Whereas here in the U.S., man, there are some good highways, but then you get off the highway and it's like, oh man, it's like some horrible roads where it's like, is this a war zone or what is this?
It is by some considered to be the best motorway network in the entire world, though other neighboring nations would beg to differ. While trucks do have to follow a speed limit on the Autobahn and other roadways, usually being capped around 80 kilometers an hour, much of truck speed is governed by internally installed speed limiting devices which prevent heavy trucks from exceeding 90 kilometers an hour. Despite the regulation and probable disappointment that they aren't allowed to drive as fast as they please, German truckers are still lucky to be able to experience some of Europe's finest roads and landscapes.
Possible, and it's not ideal either.
€46,000 a year, the 7th highest salary in the world, though many seasoned drivers are able to make much more than this.
Of course.
Drivers in Germany are limited to a maximum of 13 hours working in a 24-hour period, 9 of which are spent driving. However, they are permitted to work 10 hours no more than 2 days a week. As Germany complies with EU truck standards, articulated trucks are generally kept to a maximum total length of 18.75 meters, and a maximum weight of 50 metric tons, notwithstanding oversized loads and special transport operations. So, is German trucking the best? Well, really it all depends on who you ask and what you're comparing German trucking to. But at the very least, those who make their living on the roads of Germany are saved from excessive potholes, overwhelmingly drab landscapes, and the pains of navigating a 10-lane highway. This doesn't mean their job is easy though, far from it. So if you happen to live in Germany, or anywhere else, take the time to thank any truck drivers you happen to run into.
Oh yeah,
and
always.
Just give them a little more space when you see them on the road.
Say that in my videos, I always encourage that. Yeah, thank you to all the truckers. You make the world go round. It's an awesome job. It's a crazy job at times, I'm sure, and it's not easy, right? Maybe you get used to it. Maybe it feels easy after a while, but it's not easy. It's a skill, and navigating traffic, some crazy roads, bad drivers, hard drop-off locations. Yeah, it's a very involved job for sure. So honestly, that was some pretty just interesting info about the world, like kind of concise, condensed down into the world of trucking in Germany. Being quite frank, quite honest, I'm not sure what makes it the best. I'm not sure I gathered that from this video, other than, yes, it does look like it has a very impressive road network. The landscapes are great, all that jazz. The roads are awesome, and that helps, for sure. One thing I thought of when we were looking at all the highways, I think of truck stops, right? Truck stops are... like I, of course, only have experience with this in Canada and the U.S. From what I've seen, right, in my very limited travels. That's an integral part of the U.S. because, of course, huge place, right? And if you're a trucker going from, California all the way to Texas or Texas all the way up to Minnesota, whatever the deal is, right? We're talking long distances. So, of course, you're going to have lots of highways mileage, and you're going to have a need for truck stops everywhere, from big cities to small towns. And I was wondering, truck stops are pretty famous here for being pretty elaborate, right? There are some really cool ones. There's tons you can do there, tons you can shop for. You can it's like a one-stop shop, right? I would like to look at truck stops along the Autobahn real quick before we do outro, because I haven't seen really any videos talk about that. And I think it'd be kind of interesting. So if we look at truck stops, Autobahn Germany, of course, there might be a, language difference. Like maybe it's called something else. So rest stop. Rest stops here would be smaller pull-out locations. So it wouldn't be like a huge truck stop where there's more, building space, fuel stations, goods, the whole works, right? That would be a truck stop. Rest area would be more, there's like a very, very tiny unmanned building with basically, restrooms and maybe a couple vending machines and water, and that's it, right? Just parking spaces so you can literally rest. They have, of course, the truck side and the car side. That would be the difference between a rest stop and then a truck stop would be full on, right? Now here looks to be some sort of rest stop. I mean, very, obviously similar design. You have the parking spaces, and then, of course, like a small service center. That's exactly what I was talking about, would be like a rest stop. This one looks beautiful, though. Look at the mountains. That is a just gorgeous landscape. So that's kind of cool, seeing that. These are different pictures of it. There's a kind of a cool one. Surways. Anyone recognize these areas? There's a truck area of either a truck stop or a rest stop. I'm not sure which, or if there's a difference in Germany. But in perusing around, look at this. Broken fighter jet stops traffic on German Autobahn. Jeez. That's, that's different. I'm not sure that's something you see every day. There's another angle. What in the world? Wow. Here's maybe a better look. This is on the A2, Westphalia, Germany, if anyone recognizes this area. This might be a little more like a full-on truck stop. I'm not really sure. I feel like I'm going to assume, just because this is very limited research right now. By the way, God, I love these mountainous pictures, man. What a beautiful place. Wow. I'm going to assume the super big over-the-top truck stops are maybe a little more like an American thing, right? If we pull up Iowa 80 truck stop, this is a famous one. So this is actually a bad example because this is even big for American standards. As you can see from all these thumbnails, yeah, I've been here. World's largest truck stop. It's Iowa 80, of course. And this place is huge. So if we look, I don't know if this picture really does it justice, but it is humongous. It's almost like a little town you could drive around. It from one side to the other, it takes a couple minutes. It's a really, really big place. And so that's granted, like I said, they're not all this big, but truck stops are really, I feel like, different here. And that's something I haven't seen in a lot of videos about European trucking. Although, like I said, I'm kind of leaving it up to you guys. Here's better images. But yeah, like I said, I don't want to assume anything. I just haven't seen many truck stops covered in Europe in any of the videos I've seen, even though we've seen a lot of trucking content. So yeah, if you guys want to weigh in on that, that would be kind of interesting. Regardless, that is trucking in Germany. Do you agree with the video? Is it better? Or is it just, at the end of the day, is it just trucking? I don't really know if I would agree that one country's better than another. I think trucking is kind of connected, right? I mean, it's not like trucks, hit a wall at the end of Germany and have to turn around. Trucking is interconnected between countries. That's kind of the point. But regardless, we have a lot of awesome trucking content coming up this week. So pretty excited. Really action-packed week on the channel, actually. So again, thank you to the truckers out there. Be careful out there on the Autobahn, of course, and wherever you are actually driving at. That's all I got for you in this one. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. And until next time, y'all, catch you later.